Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews, and we're talking about the Demon's Plan chapter 11. Yes, we are indeed. And before we get into that, it was a very simple chapter anyway, but before we get into it, it's important to understand, I'm shaking the mic. It's important to understand the way Shonen Jump really run their kind of the show, so to speak. With the announcement of 6 new series that they're coming out with, the first one was about We Can't Study. The second one's coming out this week with the under 19 kind of adult drama thing, which I'm going to check out. It leads me to believe Demon's Plan's going to be one of those that's going to get axed. Bearing in mind it's going to happen, there's going to be chapters over the next 6 weeks that are getting released, or at least another 5. It will get an announcement soon at some point, and more than likely Demon's Plan is going to get axed. Now, you're probably wondering what makes me think that's the case. The nuts and bolts of it is, essentially, when you look at the rankings, even though the rankings are 8 weeks old, and the position that they put Demon's Plan in is towards the end, which normally is a less favourable to position in. So the key ones that really stand out to me is Spring Weapon number 1, that Ibitsu Amalgam of Distortion, and this one are probably going to get axed in the next 6 weeks. So with that being said, I will make an utmost attempt to review where possible, but take it with a grain of salt that I'm assuming this is going to get cancelled very soon. Now that the negativity is out of the way, let's have a look at the chapter. So, the chapter at hand had really 4 or 5 components to it. Relatively simple chapter. So this is not going to be a long review. I think the intro is probably going to be longer. So, what we find out is Boros basically defeated the thugs. He said it took longer than he expected, but they're out. What that basically does is deals with them. They're not going to go to the village unless one of them gets up and all of a sudden it's okay. But that's out of the picture. What this also does is kind of wraps up this as this guy, Roblean, being the last guy. And once this result is taken care of, then Dogma will probably be the next goal, or the repercussions will come from that side. With that being said, basically there's a section, like a panel where they go head to head, Boro versus Roblean. Roblean's hands all crack up. So basically with the armor he's got, he can do damage to Roblean, but as you know, regeneration does help him out quite a bit. It gets to a point where the more Boros tries, is the more he regenerates. It kind of evens himself out and it kind of goes back to square one. So essentially Boros' idea is to do a one shot, most damage he can do in one go, and it should be fine using Eustass's power to propel him. The idea behind the more damage he takes getting there, the more armor he can generate, the more power he can get. He does that, but he gets to a point where he's literally nearly fully cloaked in armor. And an important thing gets said, he goes that the Roblean goes that form, which honestly makes me think of 2 things. Either he's just surprised that he's seen such a form, or he's seen something similar in Dogma. Maybe an evolved form or something similar, or something along those lines that's got him thinking. With that being said, the first attempt he fails at, but he's fully armored up, and they go in for the second attack, which is going to be sky high. He goes, take me higher so I can really get into it. That was a bit shallow, let's go for it. So he gets sent to sky high, going for one more attack, and it looks like it lands. And that looks like it's going to be at the end of it. Ultimately, that's probably what's going to happen to wrap this up. But the idea that he's getting fully armored is really interesting, considering the first time he fought, he went from a weaker armor to a stronger armor. Now he's got fully clad armor. What's that next level? Is he going to get a helmet? Is his armor going to get thicker? Is he going to become a fully automated tank? We're going to have to wait and see. But relatively simple chapter, relatively simple review. Parts I enjoyed, we're going to have to wait and see what happens next. I really hope we get this done so we can move on to something else, so we can get more of the plot going rather than leaving it as an open ending. So relatively simple review. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you just watch it, try watching it to the end. It is short, and liking it, I greatly appreciate that. That'll show support towards me, and it'll get more visibility for my channel. So thank you very much for your time.